Anti-government protesters continue to die for the cause of freedom. The jurist speaking of quick trials and speedy executions of those arrested for involvement in the demonstrations. President Trump says the ruinous inflation that was unleashed during the Biden years is being brought to heel. He says he'll have some more proposals to upgrade the economy in the coming weeks. The president also says that anything less than having Greenland in the United States' hands is unacceptable to him. China's trade surplus has surged 20%, hitting a record $1.2 trillion, and that's even with President Trump's increased tariffs. On Wall Street, the Dow futures are down 135 points. The NASDAQ futures 130 points lower. More details, srnnews.com.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. 1 million people are now part of healthcare sharing because it just makes so much sense, especially right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from
which the Jayhawks have played
in years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before January 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fees. You save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just click in 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is January 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. Call 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
Start the new year in a new Chevrolet from Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, where the deals are ready to roll. Right now, get behind the wheel of a Chevy Trailblazer with 3.9% APR for well-qualified buyers, or step up to a Chevy Silverado 1500 and score up to $6,250 in rebates with an eligible trade-in. It's the perfect time to upgrade your drive and start the year strong with the power and reliability of Chevy. Make your New Year's move today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Shop online anytime at hurlchev.com.
Convenience just got an upgrade. Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh. A representative of Kansas Governor Laura Kelly is calling the U.S. Department of Agriculture's request to turn over Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program data, more commonly known as SNAP, government overreach. This Monday, Kelly announced the Kansas Department for Children and Families would maintain SNAP data is private and should not be shared with the USDA for fear of sharing with foreign governments. Back in the summer of 2025, the USDA first requested data, and Kelly, along with the DCF, resisted it, saying it would put the personal info of 730,000 Kansans in jeopardy, those being residents in households that applied for or received SNAP benefits from 2020 to 2025. On the other side, Kansas Republicans have called for Kelly and the DCF to comply with the USDA's request, alleging that a cover-up is taking place. For these and other stories, go to nwksradio.net.
Today will be cooler in the mid to upper 40s and a bit breezy in the wake of a cold front. Northwesterly winds of 15 to 25 miles per hour and skies will be partly cloudy. Clearing overnight with winds turning to the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour, lows around 30. Then attention turns towards more impactful weather Thursday and Friday. A high wind watch is in effect from late Thursday night through Friday afternoon. Northwest winds at 30 to 40 miles per hour with gusts up to 65 or more are possible, as well as red flag warnings for Sherman, Wallace, and adjacent counties in Colorado. Tomorrow will be warmer and windier with northwesterly winds at 20 to 40, gusts to 50 miles per hour. Highs around 60, lows in the mid-20s. Then Friday is critical weather day with those northwest winds gusting 55 to 75 miles per hour. Blowing dust and dust storms, power outages, and explosive fire growth is all possible. This is meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
When you gotta go, but there's nowhere to go, who you gonna call? Topside Portables and Pumping, that's who. Weddings, job sites, farm parties, they've got clean, reliable porta potties that don't stink, literally. And if your septic tank smells worse than last year's chili cook-off, they'll pump it out fast. No mess, no fuss. Family owned, Heartland values, always ready. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. When duty calls, they answer.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pestaway in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pestaway today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon, the crossover back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the Insurance Agency, Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
Attacking with the left hand, dribbling into the lane, up with the left hand. Tough shot, but a great make.
Very nice
make.
Very nice make.
Almost turned it over. Colby got it back. Now it is turned over. Emily Gray Stargell all alone. Can she make the left-handed layup? She does. And Goodland has the lead. Free ball in transition for Caleb Williams, who splashes it in from the right wing. Driving in the lane. Jones stops, got some space. Shot was short. Rebound follow is good for Hoppy.
Oh, my goodness.
Time, right corner, Prager again. And got it again. Banger, 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 ringer. Prager knocks it home, and Nebraska's up by a dozen.
Saved by McDowell. Now Peterson takes one and makes one. Darren Peterson, 4-3.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. We are back on the Morning Blitz on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, NWKSradio.net, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. For those who are watching on YouTube, Facebook, and X, thank you so much for tuning in on this January the 14th. A cooler start to the day today. 34 degrees, only going to be 46 the high here on this Wednesday. A little bit of a warm-up on Thursday, and then much cooler temperatures coming up Friday through Sunday. We are going to see temperatures in the 30s and 40s on Friday and Saturday. And as the great Curtis Duncan would say, it's going to be a three-hat day coming up on Friday with 65-mile-per-hour winds.
Oh, it's back? Oh,
it's back. So grab your hats. Grab all the hats you have and put them on your head. Going to be a very windy Friday. Right as of right now, increasing clouds, patchy blowing dust, windy, cooler with highs around 40. Northwest winds at 25 to 40 with gusts up to 50, increasing to 60 in the afternoon. Not looking like a fun trip to south to Hugoton is what it's looking like for yours truly coming up.
Oh, yeah, you got to go all the way down to Hugoton.
Yeah, I got a long road trip on Friday. I'll be intrigued to see how that's handled. I'm in a low to the ground car. If you're in a big, tall bus, sometimes that's a little bit more dicey to get around in that 65 mile an hour wind. So anyway, we'll see about that. But as of right now, not looking like it's going to be a super fun trip south on Friday with the heavy winds. But once again, today, expect temperatures in around the mid to upper 40s, winds around 10 to 20 miles per hour out of the north on this Wednesday, January the 14th. So glad you decided to join us here on the Morning Blitz. Full show ahead today. We will be talking a little bit of wrestling. It's sophomore night tonight for the Tech. 4 Days Tech Northwest Wrestling men have their sophomore night tonight. They welcome in for a tri-duel with Neosho and Cloud coming into town. And head coach Barrett Strickelman's going to join me in studio, and we'll talk to him about Tech Wrestling so far this year. It's been an interesting year for Tech Wrestling for many reasons. But nonetheless, we'll talk with him about that coming up in segment 2. We'll get to the routes that happened last night in college basketball. 5-0, Kansas 5-0 at Allen Fieldhouse against second-ranked teams. You never want to go to the Fog and be the second-ranked team in the nation. You don't want to do it. It's nothing but a death sentence.
No matter how average Kansas is.
That's right. Got absolutely stomped by KU last night, did Iowa State. And Nebraska steamrolled Oregon by 35 points. It was the largest win in Big Ten history for Nebraska men's basketball as they roll Oregon. And we'll touch on K-State basketball on the floor tonight at home against UCF. So we'll get to all that coming up in today's program. Of course, we'll talk Goodland Colby, have a chance to win from Traditions Restaurant and their strings attached Valentine's dinner and dance. So we'll have a chance to win from that. Full show ahead here on the Wednesday. As always, the F&B Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222. If you'd like to be part of the program, would love to hear from you today. Already have stuff coming in here in this one. Michael chiming in with a massive rock chalk Jayhawk after that beatdown, which is such a flip because he was sobbing in a text message yesterday after talking about KU struggling with their bench depth. But Kansas definitely with a huge win last night, and probably the story of the night. Unnamed texter says, "How about that Eagles sweep last night?"
Exactly.
And yes, it was a sweep for Colby last night over Goodland. Girls winning 23-20, and Colby beating Goodland in the boys game 52-46, the final score. And that's where we will start here on today's program. Connor Schuh, your first edition of the Colby-Goodland rivalry. I'm sorry it wasn't very pretty, at least on the basketball side of things. But congratulations to Colby. They get the first wins of the season in the matchup.
Hey, however you're going to get it, I will take back-to-back wins. I mean, those were both just absolute defensive grinds, but it felt like down the stretch, the Eagles were able to make the plays. It's simple as that. Big free throws down the stretch from Shaylee Holzmeister in the girls' game. Sadie Cheney took a huge charge at the end that kind of helped get an extra possession and seal it. And there were similar plays made towards the end of the boys' game. Josiah Hoppe had a couple of big putbacks kind of towards the end. And I think when Nathan Cates picked off that inbound pass, it felt like okay, I think we got this one here at the end. Well, I don't know about you, but that felt like it right there.
I thought about this a lot. I was up till about 11:15 last night working on stuff for today's show, so I had a lot of time to think about what I witnessed. This is in no way a negative comment towards either team, either coach, either fan base, or nothing. This is just the truth, in my opinion. Those games last night were hideous to watch. They were hideous. It was so hard to watch. I mean, the amount of missed shots and inability to make plays was unbelievable. The stat of the night that blows my mind just to continue. And once again, this is nothing against theirs. I'm not saying anything negative about the kids, about the coaches, referees, nothing. I'm just saying the game in its entirety was hideous to watch. I mean, in the girls' game, Goodland made 4 field goals. 4 field goals, Connor.
What it felt like.
4. No, that's what I can add to 4.
I think there was a stretch. I'm pretty sure there was a quarter where they only scored 2 points. I forget which one it was, but it was the second or the third.
Might have been. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it might have been more than that, but it was not much by more. I mean, 4 points. 4 made baskets is all Goodland had in that game. 4 made baskets. Everything else with the free throw line.
Defense, man.
I don't mean, no offense to Colby. Their defense was good, but talk about missed layups left and right. I mean, you got to make, if you're good from Goodland's perspective, you got to make layups. Same thing for Colby. They got to make more layups too.
It's true.
But I mean, my goodness, 4 made field goals. And it was just, give credit to Colby. They have won a lot of close games this year. A lot. The girls have. They've won a ton, and the boys have too. They've won a lot of close games this year, and it showed late in the game. They made, like you said, the plays down the stretch, the free throws, getting the extra rebound, maybe a steal here or there. Colby made the plays to win, and they deserve all the credit for that. They were good last night, but I'm not lying. If you said, Ross, name that night of basketball in one word, if we're playing that game on PTI, part of the interruption, what's the word for last night's Colby Goodland games? Hideous is the word I would use. Hideous. It was not fun to watch. Missed shots everywhere. It was tough to watch, tough to call. And my color analyst made a great comment. He goes, the girls' game was such a tough watch for both sides, whether it doesn't matter what it might have been. Tough calls not going your way, shots not going in, whatever it might have been. It was such a tough watch that it felt like it sucked the energy out of the gym for the boys' game, and there really wasn't that much juice in the boys' game at times.
I'll say that Goodland bench was pretty animated the whole time for the boys' game especially. They seemed pretty juiced up, but there were a couple of techs there that I felt like kind of helped take the wind out of their sails a little bit.
Yes, there were a couple of technical fouls that did not help the Cowboys very much there. I give credit to Colby for getting those leads and winning, and then pulling away at the end to get the win. And give credit to Goodland for hanging around for, as much as they could. Not being able to make a basket in the girls' game, but yet still finding a way to tie the game late and have a chance to win it, but, just didn't make a couple plays down the stretch. Colby did. And kind of the same thing the boys' game. Boys got down by 10, then came back, tied the game up, but Colby made the plays in the end to win the game. So credit to those teams. Jordan Jones was good. He had 10 points. Jordan Jones, 17 points. That's a pretty good night defensively. Jordan Jones is a great player, averaging 27 and held him to 17. That was pretty good. He's the best point guard I've seen since Hunter Vaughn. Hunter Vaughn, I still think, is the best point guard I've seen. He's good. Hunter was definitely better about keeping the pace, a little bit more under control at times. But Jordan Jones is a great shot maker. There's no doubt about that. And boy, Josiah Hoppy really popped off the page. I knew he had a great player. Game. He knew he was a decent player, but he was really good. And Goodland didn't have a size advantage, or Colby did by a long ways.
Oh, yeah. And he was just all over the glass last night.
Yes, he was good. That putback he had in the fourth quarter, it was an air ball from Jordan Jones. He flew in, caught it, and spun up there. That was a great play. It was a great play by him.
And talking to Reed Stevens after the game, he was saying that he's always in the right place when it comes to rebounds. And I think we saw that last night, and I don't have the stats on rebounds, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was north of 10, probably 15, if I had to just take a guess, throw a dart, and also had 16 points, or I think 15, but
15, I think.
Regardless, great night.
Yeah. Larry, FB Bank text line, he said, as a coach once told me, we couldn't hit sand if we fell off a camel. I'll tell you what, it felt like that. Let's see here. Brian has a comment about the officiating. I'm not going to say anything about that. I thought it was pretty fair back and forth for the most part on the refs.
They called it evenly, I think, but there were maybe a few more travel calls than you would usually see in a game. I thought some of those were a little ticky-tack.
Well, it was still, I thought, pretty even for the most part on the official side, so I'm not going to say anything about that. See, he also jokes. He says, tell him to take the lids off the buckets. It's more funner if shots go in. Yes, I would agree there. But credit to Colby. That was a big, for the Colby girls, that's their 5th straight win over the Cowgirls. And that was to me, that was the more surprising outcome of the night. I thought maybe Goodland would find a way to get it done. But hey, credit to Colby. They made the plays down the stretch. And On the boys' side, for them, congratulations. That was their first win over Goodland. I think in 8 tries. I think they'd lost 7 in a row.
Whew.
Goodland, and so they get it done.
It's a new era, Russ.
It is. I mean, credit to. I mean, I'm not shocked by it. I don't want to sit here and say I'm stunned by it. I'm just more stunned by how it looked. I think that's what. This was just like, I cannot believe what this looks like. I mean, it's just. Yeah.
I did think both games would be higher scoring, especially just with, both the boys and girls teams. Especially Goodland girls, I thought there would be a little bit more shot making, no disrespect intended at all. But I did think there would be a higher score, just like you were saying. 23-20 is not typically what you're going to expect coming into a basketball game that goes a full 4 quarters. But that's just what happened last night. And you know what? It's kind of entertaining in an odd way that you just see in these teams where nothing is falling and they have to just find a way to pull it out despite just being ice cold. And it's interesting to see the strategy and how teams find a way to win in those games. And a lot of times it came down to free throws, and that's how it was won.
No, it was. Credit to both Colby and Goodland on the girls' side. And the girls' game, when you have a game where you don't make a lot of shots, sometimes it's hard to go down on the other end and
guard.
Yeah. It's hard. I'm not kidding. I had our good friend John Betts from Kansas pregame message me after the game. He said, did they play without a shot clock? Because it was so low score. They just held on the ball. I said, no, they play with a shot clock. They could not buy a basket. That was what it was. They could not buy a basket, either team. Yeah. But yeah, just some great plays down. Just enough plays. The way I described it for Colby on the night, I thought, Colby, it was gritty over pretty. It wasn't pretty basketball, but it was gritty, and they survived in the gritty side of things. And it's congratulations to Colby. It's a tough pill to swallow for Goodland, and we'll do it again here in a couple weeks. Who knows? Maybe the orange and black. It wouldn't surprise me.
I was going to say, we'll probably see you guys then. Maybe.
We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Don't know about that. But if not, that'll happen again here in February. We'll meet up over at the event center, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's from the Goodland perspective, obviously a tough pill to swallow for Colby. It's a couple of gritty wins, but man, overall, if you're just a fan of basketball and didn't have any skin in the game, that was some hideous basketball last night.
It's fair to say.
But Colby gets it done. Let's see. Let's go over some other scores here from last night in high school hoops. Let's look around the scoreboard. Let's see. On the girls' side, Hoxie remains unbeaten. They beat Hayes TMP 69-48. Oakley with a victory at Norton 49-38. Greeley County beat Wallace County 63-26. Decatur Community beat Northern Valley 58-26. Shiloh lost to Wichita County 56-47. Quinter won 76-35 over Ingalls. Golden Plains won 49-42 over Victoria. And Rollins County beat Tri-Plains Brewster 83-14. Some of the girls' scores from last night. Some other boys' results. Hoxie lost 72-20 to Hayes TMP. Oakley lost 50-20 at Norton. Wallace County won at Greeley County 58-53. Decatur Community won big at Northern Valley 60-29. Shiloh lost 49-34 to Wichita County. Golden Plains lost 63-24 to Victoria. Quinter won 71-26 over Ingalls, and Rollins County beat Tri-Plains Brewster 71-38. I did want to mention again, talk about Hoxie with the girls with the win over Hayes TMP to get to 10-0, and the Hoxie boys lost 72-20. For those who don't know, Hoxie's coached by the same guy, boys and girls. Jake Moss is the boys and girls basketball coach. Talk about 2 different seasons, 2 different locker rooms you go into, an unbeaten one and a tough one for the Colby boys, where they really are struggling to find the win column this year. What an interesting and tough job he's got to be in.
Yeah, I can't imagine how do you feel coming off that night? Because you can't be too happy because it's ended with that blowout to Colby boys, but in the first game, your girls team is still undefeated after another win, and then you come through the rest of the season, and it's just night and day. Every single night, you're getting something totally different from each team. So, it's got to be a lot of conflicting thoughts for him at the end of every night of basketball. I got to imagine.
Yeah, more comments coming in. FB Bank text line. Michelle chimes in and says, "I think it's fair to say if Goodland had pulled out both those games, would you still call them hideous?" Yes, I would. I would still call them idiots if they were pulled out. It was not pretty basketball last night, no matter who won. But once again, credit to Colby on the gritty wins. Let's see here. Unnamed texter. I believe this is a Colby listener. If I just had to put my finger on it. Depth of Colby bench this year is much better. Playing 10 deep is awesome. I would agree on that for sure. Colby only played, I think, 6 guys last year. They definitely use their bench more. And it certainly helps them stay in games longer because they are not getting dead legs by the time they get in the fourth quarter. And he also gives a shout out to Coach Stevens, doing great as a first-year coach.
Absolutely.
7-2 would say that in the 9th ranked team in the state. That would agree with that.
And they're probably going to keep going up, especially if they get Scott City this Friday. I mean, it's looking pretty good. And their losses, I mean, pretty close. They only lost to Life Prep by 9 and Holcomb by, I think, also 9. So they've played their best competition pretty close, and they've just beat everybody else. So it's been a great start to the year. I mean, I don't know if you could ask for really much better for the job he's been doing. He's been very, very good.
He's been good. He's done a nice job, and it helps when you have a great player like Jordan Jones. It really helps a lot. when you have a dude, it helps a lot.
He definitely elevates the team. He's great.
Yeah, really, really good performance last night. More of a balanced performance from Colby last night on the offensive side with him and Josiah Hoppy. But Colby sweeps Goodland in hoops. Got some other high school basketball scores there. They're in segment number 1. Let's see. We'll talk more college basketball in segment 3. So let's take an early break. When we come back, we'll be joined in studio by Fort Hays Tech Northwest men's wrestling coach Barrett Strickelman. We will talk with him about the upcoming, I don't know if it's a tri-duel or a double duel. I'm not really for sure correct terminology, but they've got Neosho and Cloud coming to Goodland tonight for sophomore night. It's going to be at 5 o'clock with sophomore night and wrestling starting at 6. So you want to make sure that you are in the Max Jones for that and watch some Tech wrestling here tonight. But Barrett Strickelman will join us next to talk all about it. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Wednesday.
Kick off the new year in professional grade style with Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Right now, drive home a GMC Arcadia with 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers, or choose a 26 GMC CR 1500 and get up to $7,000 in rebates with an eligible trade-in, or 0% APR for well-qualified buyers. Big capability, bold style, and New Year savings you don't want to miss. Start the year strong at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Shop online at hurlchev.com.
This corn growing season, the pressure is on. You've got to work smarter, not harder. So turn to TrivaPro. As the hardest working, longest lasting corn fungicide, TrivaPro works overtime to protect plant health and your potential yield, even in fields with low disease pressure. When you need your inputs to go above and beyond, choose TrivaPro fungicide for disease control you can take to the bank. Ask your retailer for TrivaPro today. Always read and follow label instructions.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, this is Tom Saluda with the Anderson Trade Group with your overnight market report on January 14th. In the overnight session, March corn was up 5 at 424.5. May up 4 at 432. In July up 4 at 438. GN soybeans, March soybeans are up 9 at 1048. May soybeans are up 9 at 1061. In July up 7.5 at 1073.5. March Kansas City hard red winter wheat is up 3 at 522. May KC wheat is up 2.5 at 534. In July KC wheat is up 2 at 547.25. The Dow Jones is currently down 160 points at 49,246. S&P is down 31 points at 6,971. NASDAQ is down 153 points at 25,753. Gold is up 43 points at 4,642 an ounce. Silver is up 5 points at 91.60 an ounce, and crude oil is slightly up at 61.60 a barrel. If you're in the Colorado area and have any grain to market or risk management questions, please call John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or you can call the Overland Park office, myself, Tom Saludo, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000. Thank you.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Some corn and soybean fungicides out there talk a big game. But if you're paying premium prices for not-so-premium results, it's time to get your money's worth with Miravis Neo. With exclusive Adepidin technology, health-boosting benefits that keep crops cleaner and greener, and proven bushel bumps that out-yield the other guys, it's easy to see which fungicide gets you the most bang for your buck. Ask your retailer for Miravis Neo, the premium fungicide that performs. Always read and follow label instructions.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, and cleaner American fuel. This message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Builder's Supply at 1965 Thielen Avenue in Colby has a full line of plumbing supplies, as well as stock septic tanks and chambers from the Infiltrator Company. Stop in and visit Mark and his crew about all your plumbing needs, inside and outside of your home, farm, or business.
Roof's worn out and it needs replaced. Who you gonna call?
Roof Masters!
Roof Masters Roofing at Colby has been your premier roofing contractor for over 40 years, offering free estimates on all types of roofs, as well as seamless rain gutters and vinyl siding. So give us a call today. What's that number, Jake?
462-6642. I think you better call
Roof Masters!
It's the Morning Blitz.
We're having a great time, couple of laughs, everything's nice.
Weekday mornings from 7 to 8 Mountain, 8 to 9 Central.
We continue here on a Wednesday morning, January the 14th. Once again, a little bit of a cooler day. Temperatures in the mid-40s, here on this Wednesday. We will get to some college basketball and some thoughts on that in just a little bit, but we're pleased to be joined in studio right now by Fort Hays Tech Northwest wrestling coach Barrett Strickelman joins us now here in studio. Good morning, Coach. Thanks for getting up with us. Appreciate you joining us.
Good morning, Ross. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
Coach, talk to me about this season. I know it's been an interesting one, both on the mat and off the mat. How have you, the staff, and the wrestlers and stuff, how have they handled this at this point in time?
For sure. That's a great question. This season we've been filled with lots of ups and downs right away. Obviously, we had a bunch of unfortunate things unfold right before the start of our season, but they needed somebody to step up, and I stepped up right away and tried to get the ball rolling again for our guys, just to get them to enjoy that environment. And we've had a lot of success so far this season. A little bit of downside, as always, with success, but we're keeping that ball rolling and looking forward to the future as we're getting closer here toward our postseason.
Coach, I'm curious about, you mentioned the success that you've had. You've had some success. You've had some individual champions. Kind of give us a few of the highlights of this season to this point in time in your eyes.
Yeah, right on. So we're just coming off of 17th place national ranking right now. We're tied for 17th, so that's a solid little improvement from where we started the season. We were down at number 24th coming into the beginning of the season, so we made a solid jump already. And like you were mentioning, we've had a lot of success. Several individual tournament champions throughout the season. Our 25-pounder Ernest Grant, he's ranked number 5 in open mat right now, number 2 in JUCO. So he's had a lot of success. We're looking forward to seeing, how he finishes out the year and if he can get the job done and bring home that national title. Along with him, I had a lot of other young guys step up and be doing some great things this year. Nathan Bailey, our 133, 141 pounder, has had a lot of success on the mat this year, coming in as a true freshman. and as well as our 165-pounder Braxton McCavey. Maryland kid coming in, tough kid out of high school, and he's just put on a show right away. And really looking forward to seeing what these guys can accomplish at the end of the year.
Coach, how much have you seen your team grow throughout the season so far?
Yeah, that's a great question. With everything going on, the stressful stuff we went through at the beginning of the year and, kind of where we're at now, right after break, some of the, kind of improvements and really just level changes that I've seen with the physicality and the mentality side of my guys is really just been immersing themselves in the idea of falling in love with the process. Can't control the outcomes, only can control what we can control. And if we're doing that and focused on just falling in love with the process, taking the good with the good and the bad with the bad, and just keep climbing every day, the guys are going to continue to show appreciation and love for the sport, and they're just going to fall more in love with it and enjoy what they're doing every day.
We're visiting with Fort Hays Tech Northwest wrestling coach Barrett Strickelman. He joins me in studio. They have a big. Is it a double duel or a tri duel? What's the word that we use correctly for this tonight?
Yeah, so that's a funny question. Technical terms, I guess, if you want to get real technical with it, is tri duel.
Okay.
So it'll be 3 teams, 3 different duels. So tri duel.
Sophomore night tonight as well. So sophomore night, tri duel. They welcome in Neosho and Cloud tonight to the Max Jones Fieldhouse to wrestle. Talk about this from your perspective. You come in, you're going to be the assistant, now you're the head guy. What has this whole process been like for you, and how do you feel like you've handled the waters?
Yeah, that's another good question. Obviously, this is something that I wasn't expecting to happen. Wasn't looking to be a head coach right away. I know I had the talent to get it done eventually. I just didn't expect it to unfold and happen the way it happened.
Nothing like getting thrown into the fire.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure. But it's nothing I can't handle. Nothing I haven't been prepared for. God's put me in a great position to be able to tackle and handle and overcome a lot of unfortunate and stressful situations due to things I've dealt with and overcame in my life before. And I feel like God really just brought me here for a reason. I was going to plan on being the assistant, and obviously stuff kind of changed, and I felt the need to step up when I was called. And, I'm just really appreciative of the opportunity to be here and to be able to try to lead these guys and showcase, my talents and my abilities as a coach. I firmly believe I can go very far with this, and I can be one of the best coaches in the nation. And right now I'm just focused on doing my part while I have the opportunity, and just making sure the guys can really just enjoy what they're doing, because, wrestling, it's not an easy sport. It's physical, it's stressful, it's demanding, it's taxing, it's time consuming. So you got to enjoy the process, and you got to try to have fun where and when you can.
And when you come in almost unexpected as a head coach, I'm sure there's a big development process for you in just as a guy and as a coach overall. Where have you seen yourself grow in this time so far?
I've seen myself grow more in being a vocal leader in the actual wrestling environment. I'm a shorter, soft-spoken, quiet, to myself guy. And if you want to be a great coach, I'm gonna be honest, you can't be that way. You got to be vocal, got to be loud, got to be aggressive when you need it, and you got to know how to give praise when it's needed as well. So that's really where I've been proud of myself of finding the most growth individually, is just putting myself out there, being more vocal, whether that's in the room or just having conversations with guys, getting to know them better. That, and just putting myself out there to make connections, with a lot of these coaches that have been in the game for a while. And if this is something I want to do, I'm going to have to establish those great connections that are going to be able to help elevate me to new platforms, and just really get the word out there that this is something that I'm going to give my all to.
Barrett Strickelman joining us in studio. You mentioned, you've had some great individual performances this year. I'm kind of curious, what, in your eyes, what has been the high point to this point in time in the season?
That's a good question. I think, I don't think we've hit our highest point yet. And I think that's a good thing. Nationals is coming up. I think we're about 49, 50 days out from the national tournament. So, we're getting pretty close. I think so far, if I had to pick one specific highlight, and many people might not look at this as a highlight, but right before Christmas break, we went down to Reno, Nevada, wrestling in the Reno Tournament of Champions and the Collegiate Open. Very, very well-renowned tournament. A lot of top and tough teams go there every year, year in and year out. We're one of only 3 JUCOs there this year, and we finished 20th place. out of 42 teams. So, that's nothing to, hang your head about. We're no slouch team. We're out here competing with top D1s, top D2 guys, and our guys are showing out. So I think right now, if I had to pick something, that's probably, the highlight of our season for myself.
Early on in the season, you go to a lot of these open tournaments, whether it's, the Eunice Hospitality Open or the Bob Smith, or you mentioned the Reno Tournament of Champions, and you get into the January and February time and you get to more of these tri-meets, these dual scenarios. As a coach, maybe even as a wrestler, what do you prefer?
Me personally, I'd rather go to a dual tournament. I think a dual environment is very hype. It's a lot different than a tournament atmosphere. Tournament's very individuality based. With the dual, it's a lot hyper environment. Matches are going to be tight. It's not just relying on one person and how that one person does. Everybody has a part to play. So the environment gets very intense. And I kind of like that intense feeling as a coach and as an athlete.
You mentioned that you don't think you've hit your peak yet. You want to be peaking, of course, when you go to district championships and involved hopefully into nationals. What's the next step or two in your team's development and individuals' development to get to that spot, you think?
I think right now the next steps for our team overall, if I had to pick something that was applicable to everybody, I think right now it's just focused on staying out of our heads. Right now, the only thing setting us back from being one of the top teams, top individuals in the nation is we can't get out of our head. And a lot of times that's an athlete's biggest struggle. So right now we're putting a lot of time and focusing on, kind of like I was mentioning earlier, falling in love with the process, making sure our head's in the right space, controlling what we can control so we can put all our effort and focus and energy into what we're doing on the mat so we can fall in love with the process and continue to climb.
Coach, we're getting towards we're in the back half of the season. Of course, guys are wanting to get recruited to go on to the next level. What's that looking like for some of the wrestlers? Have some guys been contacted? I'm guessing so, but what has that been like? And how have you handled that process as a coach?
Yeah, that's another great question. Obviously, with a lot of talent on our team, other coaches are going to be reaching out. We're pretty light on our upperclassmen this year. We're only got 3 sophomores that we'll be recognizing tonight, and all 3 of those guys got an opportunity to go on somewhere else. Like I mentioned earlier in the interview, Ernest Grant, our 125-pounder, he's got a lot of tough options. Got a lot of great D1, high-level D2s, top NAI schools that have been reaching out, wanting to get him there. So he's going to have plenty of options. But right now he's just focused on his time here and the job he has to get done.
And, Coach, when you're talking about wrestling recruiting, full disclosure, I don't know a lot about it. So when you're kind of trying to find newer guys that might be juniors, seniors in high school, are you focusing more on local recruitment, or how wide of a net do you think you're going to cast? Because I guess, this is going to be your first time really getting into the recruiting.
Yeah, and that's a great question. And that's a process I've already been started on, and I've been reaching out with several coaches that have been in the game for a while, just, trying to get some opinions and some advice on, how to approach it. What does my pitch need to look like? How often do I need to be getting in contact with people? And it's something I've done a great job and really commend myself on doing a excellent job of picking up these last couple months and really understanding the process of, establishing a good communication with a potential recruit, making them feel like this is a great decision. It's a good fit for them. Everybody's on board, families, understanding all sides of everything from the financial side of things to the academic and the athletic side of things. Just really am focused on establishing that great connection. But as far as, region or where I'm really looking at, I'm a Kansas kid. So I do like to stay in Kansas with us being a Kansas JUCO. But I'm not opposed to looking anywhere, And if a kid's interested in wrestling in college, what I would recommend is, put yourself out there. You're never going to know unless you don't try, especially if you're new in the sport and you want to try to continue to go on. Just make some contacts, put yourself out there, reach out, and try to give yourself the opportunity to make it a reality.
Once again, Barrett Strickelman is joining us here in studio for Haystack Northwest Wrestling at home tonight. I believe it's the only only match wrestling of the season that is at home for sophomore night. They welcome in Neosho and Cloud for a tri-duel, tri-meet, whatever you want to call it, here tonight outside the Max Jones Fieldhouse. Before we let you go, you're looking at this team, you're looking at this season. You talked about the improvement. What do you want to see tonight out of your group here in this home match? What are you hoping to see?
As a coach tonight, being a home duel, I'd like to see, the crowd very energetic, the stands pretty packed. Obviously, my guys are going to be pretty hype on the bench. The environment should be great. We got some surprises for the crowd, so if you're coming out, make sure you come out, show some support, and stay tuned. Look forward to what's coming. As a coach, though, from my guys, what I would like to see is just come out, hard hand fight, and don't give anybody too much respect, and be on our match right away. We can't go out there and wrestle our opponent's match. The only way we're going to win is if we go out there with our game plan and wrestle our match from the start to the finish.
I have one more weird question. In other sports, you watch film, you do a lot of scouting on the opponent. How does that work in wrestling? Do you do scouting of your opponents a lot? How do you go about getting prepared as a coach and as you as a wrestler? How do you go about preparing for the opponent you're going to face?
Yeah, that's a great question and something not a lot of people think about. There is film that you can look at, especially, if you're wrestling somebody you might have seen somewhere else earlier in the season. But honestly, the way wrestling is, anybody can get beat on any given day. It just depends on who shows up and who wants it more that day. So really, we don't focus too much on film, because you can control what you can't control. You're not going to be able to control what they're going to do or not do, the moves they're going to hit or maybe not hit good. What you can control is what your effort is and what you're going to implement on the mat. So right now, for my guys, I'm not really too worried as much on the film aspect and understanding, what our potential opponents might be good at or might be doing during a match, because ultimately that really doesn't matter when it comes down to it. If you're going out there with your game plan to wrestle your pace and your match style from the start to the finish, there shouldn't be anybody in the nation that could ever stop you.
Once again, Fort Hays Tech Northwest wrestling coach Barrett Struckelman in studio with us. Coach, thank you so much for getting up with us and joining. Wish you the best of luck tonight. And best luck with the rest of the season.
Yeah, appreciate it, Ross. Thank you, and look forward to great things coming in the future from us.
Sounds great. Once again, great stuff there from Barrett Struckelman, Fort Hays Tech Northwest head wrestling coach. They've got at home tonight. Once again, you want to be there. 5 o'clock is when sophomore night begins. The wrestling will start at 6 against Neosho and Cloud. It's the only home meet matches of the season, so I'll make sure you get there and support the Tech Tigers. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Finish up the show with a little college basketball, a couple of routes last night in college hoops. We'll get to that next here on a Wednesday edition of the Morning Blitz.
If you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, I can help. I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Chris Yost. Together, we can give your long-term retirement strategy the attention it deserves. Stop by our office at 1110 Main in Goodland. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Kick off 2026 ready for whatever winter brings. At Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, they've got the gear to start the new year strong. Get organized with rugged storage totes. And when the snow starts falling, if it does, power through it with Ego and Craftsman snow blowers. Or if it's just the light stuff, blow it away with Ego leaf blowers. And don't forget ice melt to keep your sidewalk safe all season long. New year, winter ready. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Helpful folks, trusted brands, and everything you need to get it done. Wherever the road takes you, Kansas Land Tire in Goodland keeps you rolling. From tires and oil changes to brakes and alignments, they've got you covered with fast, friendly service that you can trust. Drive safe, drive smart, drive Kansas Land Tire.
We've been serving ag families for generations because we believe farming isn't just a job, it's a legacy. Whether you're just starting out or expanding your operation, F&B Bank has flexible lending solutions designed for you. This is Loan Officer Kennedy Frank at F&B Bank. We're proud to be your hometown ag lender, member FDIC.
Holidays often include parties and gatherings where alcohol is served, and these temptations can make it tough for people in recovery to stay on track. Fortunately, there is help. Call High Point Advocacy and Resource Center of Colby. Make the call, 785-460-TIME.
Whether it's touchdowns, home runs, or buzzer beaters, we've got you covered. It's the Morning Blitz.
Once again, thank you to Barrett Struckelman for coming on in studio. Great interview. Great to visit with that guy. Talk about Tech Wrestling once again on the mat tonight at home for the only time this season. 5 o'clock Mountain Time sophomore night, and then 6 o'clock the wrestling begins. Go support the Tech Tiger wrestling team. And it's been a tough year for them with stuff that's happened on and off the mat, and so for them to have where they are, it's good to visit with Barrett and get his thoughts on the program. and where they sit. Before we get into college basketball, I forgot I wanted to mention this in the first thing, but I want to give a thanks and a shout out to. I always love it when people come up after ball games or stuff like that and say, "Oh, we listened to the show. Thanks again for all this stuff." Cody Wright and his family came up and said hello. So shout out to Cody Wright, Mr. G.I. Joe, for coming up and talking after the program. So I called it that to his face, Mr. G.I. Joe. Good to see you there.
How do you like the nickname?
I think he's used to it. I've called him that for now over a couple of years. He's that's what I called him, like the human muscle, I think. And then it was Coach Ryan Mosier who called him the human G.I. Joe. And so I've just stuck with that. So shout out to the Wright family for coming and talking. It was great to visit with them after the games last night. There is some college basketball to get to from last night. Holy Moses. Let's start first and foremost with Kansas. Apparently they heard us talking. They were not happy with what we had said about them. And they said, well, we're just going to go out and show the world that we're going to go whoop up on Iowa State, 84-63, the final. They were up 44-23 after the first half. They blitzed them. Iowa State could not recover, and the Jayhawks cruised to their second Big 12 win. And Iowa State, their first loss, not only Big 12 play, but first loss of the season. I honestly think Iowa State had, and probably still does, has the best win in college basketball, that routing of Purdue on the road at Mackey. I think that was probably the best win of the college basketball season. But Kansas just absolutely blitzed them. And to me, it came down to 3-point shooting for Kansas, 12 of 24 from three. When you make that many at that high of a percentage clip, it's hard to get beat. And that's what happened last night.
It really is. And I don't think we've seen this that often this season, but there were 4 starters that scored in double figures. Trey White had 19, Darren Peterson 16, Melvin Council 15, Flory Badunga 15, not to mention Bryson Tiller had 8. Elmarco Jackson and Jamari McDowell also had 8. So it was spread all across the board. It wasn't just one guy going out there and getting all the glory. As you can see right there, Darren Peterson swinging it to the corner on the FNB Bank text line. Good ball movement. And that's what gets you a win. And yeah, it looks like they just dominated in the first half. Wasn't able to really watch the game, of course, because of Colby and Goodland, but they were up 44-23 at the break and just kind of held it there for the rest of the game. I know there's the big home court advantage there at Fog Allen, but still beating the number 2 team in the country that's undefeated by 20, especially with the start that Kansas has had, that's pretty impressive. And I think that can give a lot of KU fans a little bit of pause into where their season is going. Like, okay, we can still be a great team.
Look at the field goal shooting percentage, 51% in the game for Kansas. They shot very, very well, including Trey White. And I know Texter chiming in, Trey White, he needs to make threes. He did last night. 5 of 7 will get that done for Trey White. And they need more of that. They need to be a little bit better on the outside. You know what Flory's going to give you right there. You saw in the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream, the drive and the two-handed flush. He's going to give you that post presence. They got to make more shots consistently from the outside. And they did that last night there at the Fog in a dominant 84-63 win. So great win for them. I was listening to Bill Self's little post game afterwards, and he was just like, we played great. You know, he was like, we played great. And they did. They played great, and they get a huge win. Jayhawks with a 12-5 record, 2-2 in Big 12. Up next at home versus Baylor. And the Bears 11-5 at this point in time on the season. So a chance to go. I mean, here's the thing. If you're Kansas and you can win every game at home, which they usually don't lose because it's the Fog, and then go out there and rob a couple on the road, they're going to be in the NCAA tournament. They're going to get because they're the blue blood, they're going to get the benefit of the doubt, no matter what the record is, to make.
They'll be okay.
They're going to be fine. How deep they go will depend on how many shots they can make, I guess, as it is for most teams, to be honest with you. So
yeah,
and you make some shots. Also last night, 8th ranked and unbeaten Nebraska routed Oregon 90-55. Absolutely took it. It was a close game through the first, I would say, 16 minutes. And then it got into the final 4, like after that last media timeout break before the half, and Nebraska just poured it on, and I think scored 12 unanswered, and that run continued into the second half. They blitzed Oregon in the second half. 48-25, they outscored them. 3-point shooting, once again, was the story. Nebraska nailed 17 triples last night. 14 of them coming from Braden Frager and Price Sanford combined. They each hit 7. They both went 7 of 11 from 3. They dominated outside there. And there's no way that old man Nate Biddle could keep up with his playing ability at this point in time. It was just the route was on after that run there right before the half. And Nebraska 17-0. And with Iowa State losing, Nebraska could move up again here. I'm telling you that it's what I'm witnessing and seeing is just I still can't fathom it. It's just hard to fathom to watch Nebraska go out there and just beat the living you-know-whats out of everybody they play. And to beat Oregon, and Dana Altman said at postgame, he said something along the lines of, he goes, for a program that's made so many NCAA tournaments and so many Sweet 16s and Elite Eights and Final Fours, for us to get beat like that, it's embarrassing.
It is by anybody, even with how good Nebraska's been. And you got to give Oregon, not too much credit. They're missing their best player, Jackson Shellstad, who's been out for
he's had a wrist injury,
a couple weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love the Lin player. The Lin, Wei
Lin.
I like him. A guy who played over in the Chinese semi-professional league or something like that the last couple of years. I like him for Oregon. Past that, there's not much I love. I give Nebraska credit. Oregon's one of the taller lineups. I think they go 7 foot, 6'11", 6'10", I think, in 3 of their spots.
They've got former Buckeye Sean Stewart. I was a little worried when he transferred over to Oregon, but he's not making much of an impact over there. He's one of the 6'10" guys, 4.7 boards. He's one of those guys who's out there to be athletic, and that's what you're getting. But Nate Biddle, solid player, but not his best night. Only 3 boards. Oof.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Nebraska winning the rebounding battle, what was that last night? 34-29, and they were the much smaller team, if you go across the lineup, all 5 spots.
And looking at the box score, only one player for Nebraska had 5 rebounds. It was 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 5. So it was team-wide rebounding. It wasn't just one guy snagging everything. So that's kind of cool to see that everybody contributed.
No, it was. It was a great performance, a great team effort, and really liked what I saw. Nebraska goes on the road to Northwestern. Always kind of a tricky place to play there up in Evansville, to be honest with you. And then at home versus Washington. And then I think then you get into the real meat of the rest of the schedule. You're going to Minnesota. The Barn is a tough place to play. Go to Michigan. Of course, we know how good they are, despite having lost the game here recently. Then home versus Illinois, who will be out for blood, a team you stole a game on the road from. You've got Purdue coming up. Iowa, which has been a top 25 ranked team at times this year, a couple times left. So a long way to go. I still don't expect Nebraska to go unbeaten in the regular season, but once again, I'm not trying to get the cart in front of the horse here, but I do think I could see Nebraska being 20-0 going into that Michigan game.
It's
the game of the century.
It's very possible. You said it. Evanston's a tough place to play for Northwestern, and Washington is a sneaky good team. They got this freshman, Hannes Steinbach, who's averaging 18 and 11. He is really, really good. But if you can stop him, you're probably going to win. And you can't overlook anybody. And I don't think Nebraska is really doing that, considering how they just beat Oregon. So I wouldn't be too concerned. And I could really see that 20-0. It's possible. Can't set it in stone.
No way set it in stone. But they have been impressive. Nebraska I've been very impressed.
Oh, yeah.
Did you happen to hear the call of the night last night at the Barn between Wisconsin and Minnesota, my friend? I always love playing radio calls.
That was great.
A 3-ball at the buzzer for Blackwell for Wisconsin to win it.
6 seconds to play. Inbounds pass Blackwell with 3, with 2, with 1. Blackwell for the win. Good! John Blackwell for 3. John Blackwell for the win.
Great call. Love it there. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network there with the call with the John Blackwell 3 at the buzzer. Minnesota hit a 3 just seconds before to tie it. And then Wisconsin goes down the floor, nails in a 3 at the Barn there last night. Great call. Okay, we got to get to the walk-off, and we are up against the time here. So let's hit to the walk-off and get on out of here.
High drive, deep left, grand slam! And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off three? Thomas to the 10. Difference going on in New England. They win it on the First play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Couple of area teams in college basketball on the hardwood tonight. Colorado visiting Cincinnati. Watch that on Peacock at 5 o'clock and also on Peacock at 6. This is all Mountain Time, by the way. You can move it up an hour for Central Time. UCF K-State at Bramlage tonight. By the way, UCF 13-2. And they have a KU win under their belt, right? Yes, they beat KU.
Yeah, they did.
So we'll see if Kansas State can get it done. Still in search of that first Big 12 win. We'll see about all of that. Want to give a quick shout out. If you didn't listen last night to the Goodland broadcast, and if you're a Goodland fan, you didn't listen to the Goodland broadcast during the girls' halftime, introduced the new Cowboy football coach. Good friend Dax Reese was named the football coach for the Goodland Cowboys.
Shout out
to Dax. Congratulations, my friend, on once again getting the head coaching gig. Look forward to working with you and seeing what you do with Cowboy football in the coming years. It was great to visit with him, and I think he's going to be a great leader of young men for Cowboy football going into the future. So appreciate Dax Reese for stopping on in and visit with me last night, and wish him the very best as he starts this new endeavor as the Cowboy football coach. How he's going to do it, I don't know. He's going to have, I think, 2 kids under the age of 3 and be the head football coach. Going to be tough. Be tough.
God.
But, more power to him. More power to him for sure. All right, we're going to we'll get out of here on that. Appreciate once again Barrett Strickelman for coming on in. Thanks for all the texts, and FB Bank text line was lighting up again. David goes, watching Nebraska win at basketball is like watching Indiana win at football. Yes, I couldn't agree more. It's the worlds are flip-flopped over, that is for sure. So, but we'll be back again tomorrow on a Thursday show. We'll hopefully talk a little NFL, hopefully on a Thursday as we get closer to the divisional round. So for Connor Schuh, I'm Ross Volkmer. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you back here in 23 hours. It's been the Blitz.